I'm going to get started here. We're going to start on time, well, because we're videotaping it. And so for those that are late, well, they can rewatch it on video. Can everybody hear me in the back, Chris? You guys can hear me? You're good? All right. Well, thank you very much for coming. I greatly appreciate it. I see some faces I saw last night. So hopefully that means last night I did okay, but you want to see if I do better tonight.
Oh, what more questions?
Or more questions. All right, that's good. That's good. So how this is going to work is I'm going to go through my presentation. And then once I get through my presentation, which I'm going to try to get through in about 40-45 minutes, I did that almost exactly last night, so I'll try to do it again tonight. And then I'm going to leave you guys about another 30 to 45 minutes for questions that you have any. We're recording tonight, obviously, for those that are not here. We're going to turn the recording off once I get done the presentation because we don't have a microphone to go around and hear your voices, so those that are listening on TV wouldn't understand what's going on with the interaction. And if they have questions, well, then they're welcome to come see me at the Pro Shop or connect through email. But just want to say that I'm just very, very excited. Been very, very great to hear from so many people that have not only a lot of passion for this golf course, have lived here a long time, have been through, the beginning times all the way through, different types of struggles, and are excited to have some new ownership. And so I'm just, I've had the dream of always owning a golf course, and now that dream's come true. And now it's about what we can do to take this to another level. So let me start out a little bit just about me. My name is Brad Rue. I was born and raised here in Richland, Washington. My grandfather came here from Lewiston, Idaho, actually on horseback in the early 40s. Stayed out here at the tent camps before he got his first house over on Cottonwood Street as a rental. And then later actually purchased that for $8,000 on a 1% loan from the government. And anyway, so my father, born and raised here. I went to Richland High School. My wife, Tara Manalopoulos Rue, was also born and raised here. Her father in the back, my father-in-law, and his wife, Chris Wilson, who also actually live here. My wife is running kids around because I have 5 kids, and so otherwise she would be here. But my oldest is 16. Then Bradley 15, Christine 13, Sophia 8, and Brady 6. So we got a handful of kids. You'll see them out here. I've got 20 to 30 nieces and nephews that are around the area. So I mean, my family is very rooted in Richland, in the Tri-Cities area. I went to Walla Walla Community College, where I got a certificate in professional golf course management. My first job, actually, believe it or not, my first job that I got out of high school was at Buckskin Golf Course with Jeff Markham. I was mowing greens and fairways for Jeff over there for a while. And after that, I moved over to the Sun Willows, where I still did more maintenance over there for Ron Coons over there. And then on to Walla Walla, where I worked at Veterans Memorial Golf Course in the Pro Shop side, and went to school down there. And the idea is that the golf business, when I started school, was actually still doing pretty well. And there was a lot of need for guys to come in and help manage these communities of golf courses and developments. But that quickly crashed. And now, even today, we have more golf courses closing than we have opening. And that was the case when I finished school. Came back here and started a construction company that was actually just Rue Construction. It was actually a maintenance company. I actually borrowed my father-in-law's little Mazda truck and drove around town using that as my first vehicle. But that grew into Gale Rue Construction that we've had over the last 10 years, which grew into our company Biz Media, a showcase magazine that you guys might have seen all over the Tri-Cities the last 6 years. Blue Designs, which is our price and design company, a company that helps with clients that instead of just designing something and taking that to builders, we're actually able to provide pricing while we design it, so you're not designing yourself something out of budget. So that company's been around for a while. HJBT Properties, which owns different properties in town, more like property management, and also owns the golf course. I've coached. It's been one of my passions, so I've been coaching for about last 17 years since I got out of high school. Basketball, baseball, football at Richland High School, Chief Joe, Enterprise, AAU, Richland Youth Football, and the GRLL. I was the founder and president of Junior Bombers organization for the last 10 years. I'm a board member for the Regional Chamber of Commerce and the Public Market, and I'm the chairman of the Government Affairs Committee. So I got various things going on, and now the new owner of the Horn Rapids Golf Course, which is all exciting. So my number one goal is to unite Horn Rapids. That's really what I want to focus on. When I've done all my research prior to buying the golf course, I found that there's a big gap between the Homeowners Association and the golf course. I found that there's just not much going on here in this community to unite this community between, different events, between the golf course working with the Homeowners Association, between understanding of who's supposed to be maintaining what. There's a whole lot of communication that just hasn't been really happening for many different reasons. It doesn't matter to me. My goal is I want to really build a new bridge between the golf course and the Homeowners Association. So I've created a lot of committees, a maintenance committee that's going to focus what Jim built and the whole ownership program on figuring out what we need to get done on this golf course. Its current condition, what are natural areas, what are not natural areas, so we can start to build those areas back, get an understanding of what this golf course is supposed to be like and a time frame forward on how we're going to get it there. Changing the culture. We got to bring back pride to this golf course. People, I think, lost hope. And for whatever reason, they lost hope in this course making changes and improving. And so this became, and no offense to West Richland, it became kind of a West Richland golf course atmosphere where you can kind of do whatever you want out here. And that's no longer the case, okay? In order for us to improve this golf course in this community, we've got to act professional, we've got to be professional, we've got to take care of our golf course. And that means that things like using the golf course as a park, or a place to throw balls with your dog, or a place where I can just drive my cart wherever I want to drive my cart on the golf course, that's not going to happen anymore because we've seen the damage that it's done to the course, and we know the liability of people walking all over the course out there. We can't have that. So we've got to step this level up, and that's something we'll be doing, is changing that culture and building this pride around this golf course and this community. I've added other committees like an events committee that will put on events not related to golf and also events related to golf, and some will combine together. I've added a lot of structure into the course, and we'll continue to add that as we go. Structure as in, things like we've worked with that volunteer day where we added in our carts the rules of the golf cart. Stay out of certain areas like our natural areas. And just so everybody understands from my perspective, the natural areas are very important to me. I don't want to get rid of those natural areas, okay? I want to keep those natural areas. So I want to make an understanding of, here's the golf course, here's the natural areas, let's keep our carts out of the natural areas. If you hit your ball in the natural area, you keep your cart on the golf course, you walk into the natural area. And just again, building this structure and this professionalism back into the golf course. So I talked a little about events committees. We're going to see a lot more marketing, and maybe some of you guys have seen that. Prior to me with just using Facebook as an example, I think their highest views on a post, views, so not likes, not interaction, views on a post was less than 100 views on a post. And so I have one post right now that's at 16,000 views, almost 9,000 interactions on that. That's a lot, okay? And that's from me doing things all over the Tri-Cities using Facebook, and we'll continue to do that type of marketing to improve that. And lots of other types of marketing in there as well. Our website's a big deal. And in the past it's never been updated, so we'll be updating that on a regular basis. The calendar, we've been fortunate. I've been working with Rich, who's our men's president. If you're not involved in the men's club, get involved in the men's club. If you're not involved in the women's club, get involved in the women's club. But Rich has been fantastic for me. He's running that website for us right now. You've probably already seen a lot of changes to the website. You'll see a lot more changes to that as well. And you'll get a lot more information on how to get involved with the golf course through that website. So this is something that I added, the Horn Rapids Social Membership. And the reason for that is again, we're building this unification. If you're a member of the golf course, then typically that's what you do is play golf. But if you don't play golf, then you're not really have anything to do with the golf course. Well, we're going to bring those two together. And it's really important that we do that because we need our community members here in Horn Rapids that aren't necessarily playing golf to understand how this golf course affects them and how it can benefit them, and to come together and be a part of it. Like I said last night, if you have a lot of ideas on how you want to make this golf course better, and you think that, hey, the golf course should spend money on this, but you're not a season ticket holder, an annual pass holder, you don't play golf, and you're not a social membership holder, I may not be as respondent to you because you're not investing in your own golf course. So what I'm telling you is invest in your golf course. Your golf course will invest in your community. If this golf course is in better shape and it's one of the top courses in the Tri-Cities, your home values will for sure go up. And that's what we've seen. I spent a lot of time looking into golf course communities with homeowners associations. I looked at over 200 golf courses that had homeowners association golf courses built in their areas. This was the only one I could find that had homeowner dues not being paid to it. Okay? This is the only one. And most courses were being paid of upwards of $300 a year to their public course in their community. And in this community, it's $0. All right? And that's directly reflected. Now, I'm not asking for your homeowner dues to go up because I know you guys would get upset about that. But what I am asking is if you're not a golfer, join this social membership and get involved. You get 2 rounds of golf with the cart. So for your family and guests that come in town, you can give them some golf out here. You get buckets of balls. You get discounts at the pro shop. You get discounts at the cafe and the new bar we're putting in. You get discounts at the banquet facility, and that will be all redone. And you get invites to exclusive wine tasting events, beer craft events. That's a way that you can get involved and support your golf course even if you don't play golf. Course improvements. I have over 10 pages of improvements that I'm going to do, and that just keeps building. There's some things that we're going to do immediately, which one is a greens program. That we've already put into place. If you're playing golf, you've started to see some of that. But with our greens that we have out here, typically in the past they were fertilized once a year. We'll be fertilizing them in the beginning once a month, and we'll get to twice a month in fertilizing them. We're going to a verticutting, top dressing, and rolling program that happens every single Thursday. Okay? That's something that your top courses like Canyon Lakes and Meadow Springs do. Well, we'll be doing that here now, so we can get our greens in the shape that they should be. We have a lot of areas around our greens that when you hit a shot and you're 10 yards off the green, and you're in a terrible, I would say it could be crabgrass or whatever it is, we have to solve those problems. So we're not punishing you when you're just 10 feet off the green. The first thing we did when we got here is we raised up all of our blades. The reason for that is that this course is being cut way too short. It's cut shorter than any course in the Tri-Cities, and what that does is it allows a lot more weeds, a lot more disease. It doesn't allow for the grass to grow, and so what we needed to do is raise it up. So there are fairways, they can start to be a lot greener, healthier, suffocate out a lot of the disease, a lot of the weeds that comes in there, and our rough as well. So that's just one of the things that we immediately did. You'll see that difference, and you're probably starting to see it now, as we're not going to come out here and cut that short like it used to be. And for golfers, it's actually going to give your lie a little bit better. It's tough to hit a really tight lie. So this is going to be better for the average golfer. We're already solving water pressure issues, but we have a long way to go on that. We added a third pump, something we haven't had before. It's going to help us get water up to 5. It's going to help us shorten the amount of water time so you guys aren't seeing water turn on at 7, and golfers aren't having that issue. Water's turning on tonight at 9:30. The water just got turned on. You can see we're already flooding out over here in the corner if you haven't seen that. But that water system's going to start running now. And these guys are going to go through the entire course figuring out what sprinklers need to get adjusted, what sprinklers need to be raised up, what sprinklers need to be moved because we got prevailing winds coming in and it's not getting to certain areas. We'll be going through the entire course over the next 2 months to improve that. You've also seen, if you've looked around the course, you've seen that our whole ownership program has added a lot of ropes. We've added a lot of cart signs to get them out of areas that we have to rebuild, so we're going to have to get water to those areas. We have to oversee those areas and slowly bring them back. And that's just part of the immediate process that we're going to be doing. This course right now, we estimate that we're missing about 30 to 35% of the watering that needs to happen. So that's the type of what we consider to be the increased watering that needs to happen in areas that are not getting water. We have a ton of areas that could be getting water, but for whatever reason, the way the sprinkler is set up, whether it's pointing too high or it's not in the right location or it's just simply not working. Those are the things we have to solve to do that. A long list. Widening the fairways is really more about getting our current fairways and rough back into the shape it needs to be. Because we have one of the most difficult courses in the Tri-Cities, if it was a well manicured course, it would be a lot easier course to play. What we have, our track layout is fantastic. It's a great layout. And other courses, they can't compare to that. But because of how difficult the course is and the condition of the course right now, it's that much more difficult. And I should just say that we have the least amount of members of any course in the Tri-Cities, almost by half. Buckskin has more members than we have. All right? And that's one of the major problems that we have. Meadow Springs Country Club has 425 golfing members, 800 plus members total, if you count their social members. Columbia Point, Sun Willows, and Canyon Lakes, they all have over 300 members. We're at 145 members, okay? That's a major problem that has died tremendously over the last 5 years. We got to bring golfers back here. And our first way of doing that is improving the condition of the course, improving what we have up here. A couple of things we want to add right away. A practice facility. So we're going to add and build a new practice facility down on the driving range. This practice facility is about developing the game, okay? Golfers' game. So from our juniors to our adults, we don't want a facility in the Tri-Cities that compares to this. And I promise you, there will not be. There will not be a golf course that compares to our facility unless you want to go play a par 3 course in Pasco, and even that won't compare to this, or you want to go to Golf Universe. But when it comes to golf courses, we will have one of the best practice facilities out there. And it will be a facility that caters to our juniors, where our juniors who join the club will have some lockers down there. They'll have a sitting area down there. They'll have some TVs down there that they can hang out at, because that's today's youth now. And maybe even some Xboxes if that gets them to go down there. It will be an environment that kids need to come spend time and hang out at our golf course and start playing golf. We have to rebuild that. But it'll also be a facility for golfers who need a little more privacy when they're taking lessons and don't want to be there with everybody there as they're swinging on the course. It'll be a place that will have 6 bays that people can hit in. We can close it all up and hit there during the winter when it's too cold and it's snowing. We can open it up and have the breeze. It'll be between the putting green and the course on the far side, because I got power and water on that side. And it also will act as our intermediate pro shop when we take care of these 2 facilities. Indoor facility, just kind of showing you that. So this is our facelift that we're going to do right away. The facelift is about that facility and this facility. This is an amazing facility, but it's in terrible condition. So one of the things that we'll do is, right now we're engineering to get rid of these 2 posts right here. I want to get rid of these 2 areas going down the middle. I don't know if I can. All of these doors will be replaced, full stucco repair, full paint. We'll be taking care of all that refacelift of the kitchen area, the bathrooms, and making this a fresh new look that you guys want to come rent out for events, for parties, for whatever it is. So a full new facelift, interior, exterior of this building. On the Pro Shop facility over there, we'll be adding a brand new bar in there. There'll be a 22-foot bar If you're standing in there and the cafe's here, there's these 2 or 3 openings to go through. We're going to open that whole thing up, add 4 TVs in there. It's going to give us more room for the bar we're going to put in there. Up against the cafe, that cooler's going away. 4 TVs are going up there. And we're going to have something that is similar to a tap and barrel type atmosphere, something where we're going to get a type of atmosphere like White Bluffs and Bombing Range right here. We'll focus on local beer, local wine, and great food. I will not have a super large menu. I'll have a small menu that's very good. And that's what we're going to focus on to get you guys up here, because the reality is there isn't a better place with this type of a view in the Tri-Cities. So we're going to take advantage of that. We're going to give you good beer and wine. You're going to come here and spend your money and hang out and have a great time out on our patio and inside of our facility. And right now, a lot of people don't even realize we have a cafe. A lot of people don't even know right now we're open from 11 to 2. All right? And a lot of people don't even know that our food is actually really good right now. You know, but they just don't know, and there hasn't been marketing. They spent $1,100 in marketing last year, total. Okay, so just people don't know. So we're going to change that atmosphere. We're going to have a fantastic bar. White Bluffs and Bombing Range are excited for us. They don't have anything to be worried about. They're going to be slammed, and we're going to sell their beer here. And we're going to have other beers in the areas and other wines in the areas, and we're going to take advantage of that. And you guys are going to be able to drive your golf cart or walk over here, then get in a car and drive down the road. It's a whole lot better, and that way you're going to spend more money on beer and wine because you don't have to worry about getting in a car. So we're going to add sound and technology in this facility and that facility, interior and exterior, so that for events and stuff like that, for presentations, whatever it is, we're able to have a lot more, I'd say, variety of people who might use the spaces that we have. So all new doors, stucco, everything on that facility over there too as well. So in the next 4 months, you're going to have a complete facelift of these facilities, preparing for our grand opening here. So that'll be pretty exciting. So this is our potential clubhouse improvement in the next 3 to 5 years. This depends on how much money and time you spend in these 2 facilities. Depends on if we're going to make this type of an improvement. If you guys come out and start spending time at these facilities and start playing more golf and bringing your friends out here, then we can justify this, and we really want to justify this. We need a bigger banquet facility, which is actually one thing that's nice about this facility you may not know. There is no occupancy of this facility. And the reason is that is because we have 10 doors, so you can have as many people in here as possible. But we still need a bigger space. And so that we need a bigger restaurant and bar, because you are going to come out and spend time there. And we're going to add a new pro shop, a whole lot more merchandise in there. We're going to be adding locker rooms, restrooms, basement to the new cart facility, an exercise space, and spa space. The way that this facility will work is that this space is from this area all the way to the far area. There'll be a full basement underneath. Half of it will be cart storage for the pro shop, for the golf course. Part of it will be private cart storage. This side of it, like from here over, because we have this daylight basement view, there'll be glass in the basement, and there'll be an exercise facility down there with locker rooms and spas. This is what we believe is the type of facility that would fit the Horn Rapids area. We believe that this type of style works for this area. It gets people excited as they pull into the Horn Rapids development and they see this, they think, wow. And so that's the design that we're going for on this new facility. So get out your pocketbooks and start coming here all the time, and let's make this happen, okay? This is just an example of the exercise facility we would have. We would have an elevator at the entrance, so when you'd come in, you'd come downstairs to the locker rooms, which would have showers, bathrooms, and you'd be able to use. This is not the exercise facility for bodybuilders, okay? We recognize what the age is of Horn Rapids. This is a facility that will have a lot of ellipticals. It will have spaces for yoga classes and things like that you guys can come in and partake of and use. Locker rooms will be more intimate. They'll be smaller, but spaces, if you're familiar with the racket club, in the men's locker room, I don't know what the women's locker room is like, but in the men's locker room, there's a sitting area, there's a TV. This will be similar to that. This is not your lockers that you permanently have, okay? This is lockers, you come in, you grab them, they have a code on them, you use them just like the racket club, okay? The lockers that we have down at our hitting facility down there, those are more permanent. Sauna, I like to sit in saunas, and that's why for me a sauna is something I want to add. So, going on to food. We're going to improve food. Now, we have great food right now, but we got to get better food. So we're going to be focusing on that over the next 3 months as we're putting together our menus, as we're looking for chefs, as we're going down this road. We're going to be looking at a lot of things to improve food throughout our bar, cafe, and event center. I'm a huge wings fan, so we're going to have some great wings there because I'll be comparing. Right now, I feel like Amendment has the best wings in the Tri-Cities, so it'll be my goal to make sure that we have the best wings and tater tots in the Tri-City. Hot dogs. Prime rib nights, I love prime rib. I think a lot of other people do too, so putting some prime rib nights together and getting you guys to come out and pair that with some wine and stuff like that will be fun. I go to a huge crawfish festival, probably one of the biggest in the tri-state area up in Oregon. Oregon, where our cabin is, actually in Rhododendron. There's a place called the Skyway. It's about 5,000 people go to that. Oregon has crawfish in their lakes up there, massive, and they're huge. They're like this big. Not like the South where they're like this big. These crawfish are massive down there. It's an amazing event. I've talked to the owners. They bring us all the crawfish we want. Whether we have a tournament or we just have that event and we pair it with bands and brewers and wine, those are the type of things that we need to start having here in Horn Rapids. Regardless of golf, we just need to start having these events here for people to get involved in. We're going to bring back Taco Tuesday because everybody loved it here. And before I bought the golf course, it's like everybody asked me that question. Are you going to bring back Taco Tuesday? So we're going to bring back Taco Tuesday. Again, I want an Oktoberfest here. I think we can have it, whether we pair that with a golf tournament or not. We've got to celebrate our beer that we have here. And so the thing that I don't know that everybody recognizes is that between the valley and here, we're the largest hops grower in the world. So we need to celebrate that. And so doing some Oktoberfest stuff, some wine and cheese stuff is something that we're going to do a lot more of. I've already been speaking with many different wineries. I have Cooper Winery coming down here next week to talk about some things they're going to do. I even got suggested that we should do a golf tournament where every single hole is different wine tasting. It might get kind of sloppy. But I know my father-in-law and his wife would go playing golf or not, and they would test every hole. So, golfers or not golfers, it's something that we could look at doing. WSU Tri-Cities wants to expand their Vintner program, and I want to be a part of helping that. We have some south-facing land over there on 13, I think it is, overlooking the Yakima River, where we have golfers occasionally decide they want to hit their balls into the Yakima. So if we can put a vineyard there, a small vineyard that helps our WSU school out, giving them some free land over there. In return, we get wine grown right here in Horn Rapids, and we have a wine sharing program with them that helps raise money for WSU, and we get wine at a good price here in our community that's labeled Horn Rapids. I think that'd be a fantastic way to support our school that's right down the street, give it some land. It would complement our golf course. There's a lot of logistics that go into that. They're going to come out here and do some samples, do some walkthroughs, but we have 2 areas on the course that we could get them a couple acres. That one specifically is south facing, and so it's definitely a primer spot than anything, and it might keep our golfers from hitting golf balls into the Yakima River. But that's something I want to continue to pursue. Obviously, depending on the vines that you bring in here and how old they are, would depend on how long it would take. If we go right from the very beginning, typically it's 3 years before we get any wine. But I think it's something that our community would embrace here, and we get excited and we would get behind. It's very close to WSU, so it's something that we're going to continue to progress with them. So townhomes. So everything I just presented to you is fantastic, right? It's really, really good. But I can't make all that happen without building these townhomes. They have to happen because they generate the revenue to make the improvements. Nearly $1.5 million I want to put into this golf course. To make this golf course not just a golf course, but the top golf course in the Tri-Cities. I want people to really question and argue whether or not this course is better than Meadow or Canyon. I want that to be an argument. And right now, it's not an argument. We're not at the table. But we can be at the table. And what that means for your home values, you can talk to realtors. If we're one of the top courses, you'll get at least $10,000 added to your home value, if not more. And so that's our goal, is to push for that. But we need these townhomes. They're in 3 phases. They're 1,600 to 1,900 square feet, 2-bed, 2-bath, 1 to 2 car garage. They're ranging from $329,000 to $379,000. Keeping it under $400,000. They're going to cater to more of that 55 and older client. So the main level will have a master, all flush, and be something that we feel with the already amount of people that we have, we're going to move it very, very fast. So we're very excited about it. Some different, just to show you the 3 phases. The first phase starts south all the way down by that metal cart building. Second phase is here in the middle. The third phase is actually in the current parking lot now. And so before the third phase would happen, we'd be putting in the new parking lot right behind this, which, believe it or not, is a great improvement. Where the parking lot is now, I don't know why it should have been put behind this. That's too far away. And when you're trying to build a new restaurant and bar and build on that, you can't have parking that far away. The U-shape that's put out there, the city hates it. And I think most people do here. It's not good. So we're getting rid of all of that. Our parking lot will extend from there all the way back to our stream that's over here and back to the street. Once that's done, then we'll be able to put in our last phase of townhomes all the way through that existing parking lot that's back there. With the amount of interest that we have, we'll probably do phase 1 and 2 at the same time because we have that many people interested in our townhomes. This just shows the existing PUD development that's there. It was originally zoned to be just like Prestwick. But it's not enough units. It's not something that would fit there now. And this just shows where the current parking lot is and the pro shop facilities. So you'd have this whole area up here would be the new parking lot, and from here down would be townhomes. These are just examples, so don't think that this is exactly what these townhomes are going to look like, but just examples that we're looking at that fits the Horn Rapids community. Another example here. So we're just trying to find things. We don't have to be in the architectural committee. We don't have to go through that. We're on the golf course. But we will look at all that and find a way to make sure that we're fit into this community. It's very important to us. One other thing, we're not part of the Homeowners Association. We want to be part of the Homeowners Association. If I was a homeowner here, I'd want that revenue into our Homeowners Association. So that's something we'll be working with the Homeowners Association to figure out how that works. And there's one big problem that everybody talks about, and that's the pool, because it's overcrowded. And so that's what we'll talk about, is how do we handle the pool situation, because with these people living right here, they would like to walk across the street to go to the pool. But if the pool is packed, then we need to discuss another location for a pool in this development and how that works. So we'll be working with the HOA on figuring that out. Estimated timeline. So in our first 1 to 2 years, we talked about getting the pro shop and cafe facelift done and adding the bar. That's in our first 1 to 2 years. The banquet facility is all part of that. New practice facility on the range. Our greens program we're immediately doing. The parking lot improvement, what that is our parking lot right now looks terrible. It's the first thing you see when you come in. So we want to improve that. Even though we're going to tear out that parking lot and get rid of it, we need to do some landscaping over there and get that improved, because when you come in, it just doesn't look good out there. We have other things we need to improve. We're going to be working on the maintenance shop. It looks terrible. So we got to work on that, get a lot of that cleaned up over there so it just looks better. And we're going to be starting our first phase. A lot of this stuff you have right here, I actually want done in the next 6 months. I want my first phase in construction in the summer. That's our goal. But that's kind of what we set there. Years 2 and 3, starting the second phase. Like I said, with the amount of interest that we have, 1 and 2 might start at the same time. Getting ready to build the new parking lot right out back here. Designing the new clubhouse. At this point in time, we may be looking at a massive overhaul to the irrigation system of the golf course, because we've got enough townhomes sold at that point that we've generated a little bit of revenue that we can start to look at a major irrigation improvement to the golf course. And possibly begin phase 3. Years 3 through 5, we finish the third phase. We begin construction on the clubhouse. Again, depending on how much this community supports what we have going over here. And we finish the final course improvements, which there's a long list of those to get this course where it needs to be. And that is my presentation. All right.